How have you been?
I've been good. Basketball season ended because we are out the playoffs, but
At least you guys got that far.
yeah, and it's
That's
kind
a
of
good thing.
and it's bittersweet too because it's like yesterday, it was weird. Like me and Gabriel, my son, we have a whole bunch of shows that we watch together, and we were able to get caught up on them. And Jasmine was like, "Oh, you guys haven't watched that show in a while." And I was like, now thinking about it, I haven't been home at this time.
In a long
time, like normally at that time I'm either at practice or a game. So
That's good. I bet he loves that. What'd you guys watch?
we're both into anime.
So what are you watching?
Bleach.
I haven't watched that one yet.
That's a good beginner one.
I'm trying to get Jody into. We want to start watching an anime. He has a couple he has in mind. I want to watch Demon Slayer because I heard that was
Demon
really
Slayer
good.
is pretty good. By the way, you have your mic. You have your thing on, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, perfect, cool. We in the building. We in this bitch. It's really good. It's really good. All right, well, let's go get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Happy Hour Podcast. This is like the breakfast edition. We're doing it earlier than me.
Because of scheduling conflict, so we have to shoot it in the morning. But it's okay.
And it's cold as fuck. It's hella cold out here.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it, so normally I don't drink coffee. Megan drinks coffee.
Yeah, I do.
But she ordered a Frappuccino. So I took her lead and I ordered a Frappuccino too.
I don't like hot
And I didn't know a Frappuccino was cold. And it's 60 degrees out here. And y'all probably thinking like, oh, 60 degrees isn't that cold. But this is Sacramento.
Yeah,
Like
we
see.
don't do this type of weather. We don't like this type of weather. Californians don't like cold.
No, we don't.
No, not at all.
We don't get this at all. No, it's usually like anything past 70 to me is freezing. Like I'm like in layers at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Hat, beanie, everything.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. This is episode 2. We got a couple feedback some feedback from episode 1. But thank you guys for just being so patient with us because we already know there were some errors and some things that happened that we need to fix up on. We'll kind of touch on some of the feedback that we did get. But first off, shout out to New Brew Cafe. They hooked us up with the frappuccinos and the croissants.
The croissant.
The croissants. Is that how you say it? Like that? You get
Croissant.
Croissant.
That's how you have to say
Yeah.
it. Like the T is. I think the T is supposed to be silent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to say it with that little accent, or it doesn't really count.
Oh, okay. And we didn't even, I noticed we didn't shout out the last place either. So that was the Silver Garden restaurant,
Yeah,
right?
Silver Garden Chinese food place.
Okay.
Bomb. Like, best Chinese food. I love them so much.
Yeah.
That's where we ate last time.
Yeah. So New Brew is over there on Watt, right across the street from, or actually on the same parking lot as the Planet Fitness over there on Watt. And then the Silver Garden is on Madison.
Right across the street from Scandia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Across the street from Scandia and the that huge church. I don't know what it's called over there, but it's been there for years.
I don't know what it's called.
I don't know what it's called either.
Big ass church.
But anyways, you can find it.
Yeah.
You can find it over
It's
there.
good, and they have Mongolian too.
Yeah,
Kind of
they
feel
get
this
the.
is free ad for them, but it is so freaking good.
Yeah, they have the whole grill set up too. So you just pick whatever things you want and they throw it on that grill and they cook it for you. I mean, if you haven't had Mongolian barbecue yet, I suggest you try it because it's really good. So this episode, we are going to be talking about KimYe, the whole debacle with Kanye West spazzing out, which something we're already used to, but.
It's like more than what we're used to, I guess. This is like another level.
I agree because someone is directly being impacted. I mean, to a scary level,
Yeah.
Because he spazzed out before, but
I feel like it wasn't to anyone close like this. I mean,
yeah,
he kind of spazzed out on Amber Rose when they were dating and stuff, but it wasn't. It wasn't even the level.
And Amber held her ground.
She
did. She called him a finger in the booty type. That shit was hella funny.
Yeah, I love her. She's hilarious.
Yeah. And Wiz even backed her up too, but no, we haven't seen anything like this. But no, last episode we talked a little bit about the friend zone. And just some brief little feedback. It really had nothing to do with the subject matter because they felt like we covered the subject matter pretty good. But the feedback that we got, The audio wasn't clear, so hopefully this time, it's cleared up for you guys, and the shots were too bright. Like I said, that was episode 1. We really didn't know a whole lot what we was doing, but hopefully this time it's a lot better.
It's just a little bit better.
Clear for you guys.
Hopefully by the next couple episodes, it's going to be like on point. But
Right.
It's just a learning experience.
Yeah.
I've never done something like this before. You kind of have with your
Real estate
one, but this is a little bit different.
Yeah, and I didn't want Megan to look like a ghost this time either.
I can't help it, okay? I am pale as fuck. I cannot help it.
For my melanin deficient partner over here.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
I'm just messing with you. The other feedback that they gave us was, it sounds like you guys really liked the Truth or Nahh segment. You felt like that was really engaging, and we hope to have more interactive stuff like that on the podcast. Truth or Nahh won't be the only thing that we'll be doing. There'll be reactionary type things. If you do follow me on Instagram, you saw me post something on my story, just basically asking you guys a question about what your thoughts are about marriage, because that's kind of one of the things that we'll be talking about today. So we want to continuously get you guys engaged, and the last thing reminds me that I need to stop talking. Because they say I talk too much. I dominate the talk time. So, I would say we probably just weren't as prepared as we needed to be.
Yeah, I would say so. It was kind of just going into it blind.
Yeah.
At least today we have more of an outline.
Right.
A little bit better.
Right. So that way I'm not dominating the whole thing. But like I said, we're going to be talking about the KimYe situation. But before we really get into it, I wanted to kind of give a brief timeline of everything that's happening, because I feel like there's a lot that's been happening.
Yeah, you can't just really talk about the situation now without going over the history of it. So.
Right. So just real briefly, so Kim and Ye, they got married in 2014, and all the divorce talks started happening December 2020, right? They were living separately at that time. So I believe Kanye had a ranch out in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Kim was still here in California. They were doing some marriage counseling, but it was never them together at the marriage counseling. It was always them, doing it separately. And they were talking to divorce attorneys. They had sources that came out and said that they both have been in contact with a divorce attorney. And this is, before really anything really hit the fan, right?
Yeah.
And then we fast forward to mid-February. Kim finally officially files for divorce, and things seem to be pretty amicable. They're not really fighting. There's no mudslinging going on. Kim is still posting photos on Instagram of her rocking Yeezys. Also, of course, with her skim line.
She did that speech too, and she said how much of a she just basically just complimented him a lot and kept pumping him up after the divorce thing and everything. So she was still very supportive and she wasn't being petty or anything. She's still being very supportive. She
was doing exactly what you're supposed to do. I feel like after, regardless of divorce, but any breakup, right? I feel like you should be.
Well, I know. I feel like they have kids.
Yeah.
So if they didn't have kids, they could just
cut loose
and just it doesn't really matter. But they have kids, so they have to keep it amicable.
Amicable.
Yes.
Amicable.
Whatever that word. They have to keep it that level, so that way it's healthy for the kids. Because as of right now, it's really not.
That's true, and it doesn't always go like that. I've never been divorced, but I've had breakups where there's kids involved, and it's not all peachy. And when it is messy like that, it's really hard on the kids, no matter how young they are. Because they do have North is. I want to say she's approaching her teens, or is she already a teenager? But she's old enough to understand what's happening, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I don't think she's old enough, because I think she's 9.
She's old enough to know that a divorce is happening.
Oh yeah, she's old enough to know that. But
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Even if she was 9, 7, she knows them.
I don't know if they probably really shelter her from the news and stuff, where maybe she hears about it, because I feel like when you're a celebrity kid, you kind of have to grow up faster because you have to deal with all that. So she probably is really aware of a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, probably a lot more than us. Can you imagine her experiences are probably way more than anything that we've already experienced. She's. What I mean by that is. Duh. She's
what I mean by is life. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lifestyle experiences and all that. But yeah, everything was peachy. Ye was still wearing his wedding rings. But what I found interesting was that they both have stated that it was irreconcilable differences, as the reason why they filed for a divorce. So they both agreed that it was something that they could not fix within their marriage as the reason for their divorce, right? So it wasn't just Kim; it was Ye as well. And he actually stated that he wanted to file divorce first, but he allowed Kim to do it because he wanted her to preserve his dignity. Now, I don't know how much I believe that, but at the end of the day,
I think he just wants to say that he had the idea first out of the whole thing. Like, it wasn't Kim breaking up with Kanye; it was like, them both breaking up with each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he does. I don't know. I don't think that's true.
I don't think it's true, but at the same time, so there were certain things that I saw from Kim, during their relationship, which made me Kim Kardashian, her claim to fame wasn't exactly the most luxurious, way to do it. And I think, including myself, everyone kind of judged her. But during her and Kanye's marriage, because I was a huge Kanye West fan, naturally you kind of get to see what she's doing too. I have a ton of respect for her. Not just as a person, because I think she does a lot of amazing things. She's been really involved in prison reform.
She has done a lot. That's the thing. It's like,
yeah.
I didn't like her. It's the same thing. I didn't like her
for all the wrong reasons. For really almost no reason, to be honest with you.
And in the news doing petty bullshit rumors or whatever, and so I didn't really like her in the beginning. But like, since she's gotten older and done, she's just actually doing a lot. And I have a lot of respect. She's actually very smart.
Right. Well, Kanye in my opinion, Kanye gave her a lot of reasons to be embarrassed, to want to walk away.
Yeah.
The amount of times that he spazzed out, she was there. She was, they were together during those times. And she always was there to support her husband, regardless of the situation.
But that takes a toll on you to have to keep dealing with something like
exactly.
that.
And that's why
I couldn't take that after a while.
And that's why I don't believe that Kanye was the one that wanted to file for divorce first. I believe that Kim was always kind of like the glue to their marriage, right? The fact that Kanye moved out to Wyoming in the first place, like that to me right there, just kind of says like, all right, like, are you really
taking some time apart? Like,
yeah.
He said he went out there to work on his album, but
but he ended up living out there.
I think it's both.
Yeah, like
both.
I feel like he wasn't really trying, and she was. She was kind of the one holding things together, and because of that, it, in my opinion, it gives her the power to file for divorce, right?
Yeah.
So let's fast forward. July comes around. Kanye West starts promoting his Donda, album, right? So he's having multiple listening parties, and Kim is at all the listening parties, right? She's not only just at them, she's participating in them, right? Yeah, she's fully supporting. I think the first listening party, her and Kanye are wearing matching clothes. They're both wearing all red, matching together. But then at the last one, Kim shows up and she's in a wedding dress. And, they're essentially kind of like recreating their wedding, almost like rekindling their marriage in a way. I know a lot of people were getting that feeling too, like, okay, is this a sign that maybe they're going to be working things out and getting back together? Did you feel that way at all from that?
Well, I just felt like it was weird. Like,
okay.
Like, I don't know, if you guys are talking about divorce and then all of a sudden you show up in like a wedding dress, I don't know, it's just weird. It was weird to me.
Yeah.
But like, Kanye dresses Kim. And so if they're still together, then he probably dressed her in that and it meant something. And
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think Kanye dressed her up. I think Kanye, obviously, there's a performance going on, right? So it's not like Kim just showed up in her wedding dress and Kanye's like, all right, we'll make time for this in the set. Like, no, this was obviously something that was established in a set. Meaning, yes, Kanye definitely did ask her, but she didn't have to do it. And with that being said,
it's true.
Do you feel like even that moment, not only did it send like a message to the fans or create some confusion, but in any way, shape, or form, do you think that kind of sent the wrong message to Kanye? I mean, because I'm not sure if you saw it, but I mean, the man was cheesing. I mean, the man was smiling at her like.
But what if they actually did try and he just still couldn't fix it and get it together? So I mean, like, if she still tried, then that's not really fair to say. Do you think it was like teasing him or whatever?
Okay, well, that's a good perspective. Yeah.
Maybe they did try. We don't know their lives all the time. So.
Yeah, that's it. That's an interesting perspective. I mean, I'm sure they probably did. I mean, because the one thing that I've learned about Kim is that she seems like the type of person that leads with her heart all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like most of her decisions are because she feels a certain way. It's not because.
She does follow her heart.
So, no, I can definitely see that. Right. So fast forward, November hits and things really hit the fan. Right. So Kim starts dating Pete Davidson, and then Ye goes on Drink Champs with Nori, and states that he wants to stay married to Kim now, right?
But like he says that while he's with
Julia Fox.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. Like I think that's absolutely crazy.
I agree. Well, not only was he dating Julia Fox, but there was rumors that he was dating someone else previously or seeing someone else previously. Mm-hmm. Then he starts dating Julia Fox. Then Kim starts dating Pete Davidson. Now all of a sudden, he wants he wants this marriage to stay together.
That she wouldn't move on so quickly, or move on. You know, maybe he.
Yeah.
I think it's just like his ego.
Yeah.
Like she wouldn't move on. Like she'll come back. Like.
That's interesting.
That's how.
Okay.
I feel like that would probably be like his perspective.
I can see that. Like I can see that just based on some of his approaches to kind of winning her back. Mm-hmm. You know, like, okay, buying the house across the street from her or sending her.
That's not okay. That's like invading her privacy because like she can't do anything without him like watching. Like if they're not together, that's none of his business anymore. Like he does not have to live across the street. Yeah.
Well, it seems like Kanye has been trying to win her back with money. And that's just not going to work for her, especially for.
Rich. I was going to say, especially
for a woman.
That would not work.
Yeah, especially for a woman that's been wealthy her whole entire life. Yeah.
They're like there.
Yeah. I mean, most men she's gonna end up dating. She has more wealth than them.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson is not.
She dates who she wants, so it doesn't really matter. Like regardless of money.
Yeah. Pete's not on her level. But yeah. So and then also too during December. You know, Kanye has that performance with Drake, you know, the free Larry Hoover concert. Mm-hmm. And during the concert, he was once again professing his love for Kim, right? Kim states that she's super embarrassed, right? And then Kim files a request to be considered legally single, right? So then we start to see things really, really, really heat up, right? So we already talked about, you know, Kanye buys a house right across the street from her. And might I add, he bought that, huh?
Creepy.
It's super creepy.
Yeah.
Well, the creepiest. To me, this is nuts, because it kind of shows like that power dynamic of like, all right, people with money can get away with a lot, and they can really hurt you. You know, he bought that house across the street for $450,000 over the asking price.
Because he wanted it for sure.
Yeah.
He wanted to make sure they would say yes.
$450,000 over the asking price. I just feel like
he's like a manipulator. Like he used social media, mm-hmm. and many of things like, oh, contact her, tell her to invite me to the kids' party. He was there. What if it was just a whole like, I don't know. I just don't feel like.
They said that was a misunderstanding. So what they said was. Well, this is what Kris Jenner said.
In his video, he was like, "They're not letting me in."
Right, and Kris Jenner said that no, that wasn't the case. You know, he was welcome. He was never not welcome to come to the party. There was just communication back and forth stating that they were both going to have their own separate parties.
So why have him there?
So the fact that she was having a party, and I'm sure what probably happened was she was having a party and he never received the invitation. Mm-hmm. Right. So in his crazy ass mind. He's thinking, oh, shit, I didn't receive an invitation. I'm not invited to the party. They don't want me there. It's like, no, but we were having our own separate parties because we're not seeing each other anymore.
Yeah,
we're both trying to move on with our lives. We're not trying to have any drama because every time you're around, there's some fucking drama. You know, it's...
I don't know. It's just a lot of drama. That's just crazy life to me.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't deal with that. Like that would never win me back. Never.
Yeah. I don't think it would win anybody back, and that's you know
But that's what he's trying to do. Like he legit thinks that stuff like that's gonna work, and like I don't understand. Like it's not.
To be honest, I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think,
you think
that
they'll get back together.
Oh no! I don't think that he's doing this to try to get back together with her. To be honest with you, you know, like, so just going through that whole timeline, you know, one of the things that really stuck out to me was, once again, at the very beginning, both of them are stating that the marriage cannot be fixed, right? Both of them are saying this. Not only are both of them saying this, but for years, before the divorce was even filed, they have been living separately. They have been seeing or marriage counselors separately. Mm-hmm. They have both been in the talks with divorce attorneys, right? So all this stuff is happening before the marriage has even ended, right? Then the marriage ends. Now you're saying that, okay, the marriage can't be fixed. Ye starts dating other people. Kim is not dating other people, but they're both dealing with this in a very amicable way. They're both dealing with this very friendly, right?
And
the transition
when she starts dating Pete.
Right. So soon as Pete comes in the picture,
Bullshit.
all of a sudden, now I want my wife back. That's still my wife. He says on Drink Champs, you know, he's sending her a bed of roses in a truck. He's you know, he's posting these messages all over Instagram and social media. He's posting their private messages on Instagram as well.
Okay.
He's telling his fans to scream at Pete. I honestly think this is more about Pete than it is about Kim.
Because like she's dating him instead of like wanting Kanye back. You like that?
I think it's just the fact that it's Pete Davidson. To be honest with you, like I feel like it's.
I like Pete Davidson, so.
Yeah, okay. So, I think Pete is a funny dude. I think I don't. I mean, his catalog of women that he's dated is pretty impressive. I just don't understand it, to be quite honest with you, because like when you look at like some of the women that he's been with, and in grand scheme of things, you know, I'm a straight male. I don't think like, you know, a straight woman does. So, you know, there may be things that are attractive to you guys that I just don't see. But to me, it's just like, okay, like I don't see it. I don't understand how, you know, all these women are as attracted to him as they are, you know, like, especially on the physical. I mean, he's kind of like a pug to me, you know, like maybe that's it. Maybe he's like so ugly.
He looks like a sloth.
Maybe that's it. Like maybe he's so ugly, it's cute. You know, it's like everyone walks up to a pug and like, oh my God, it's so ugly and it's cute.
I think it's funny.
I think it's funny too. I love his humor.
Everyone's so mean to him.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, understand. It's kind of like the Nickelback of this generation.
You
know what I mean? Like
Pete Davidson is not the.
That's what I think.
Pete Davidson is not the Nickelback of this generation. He's not that hated on.
A lot of people do not like him.
Really? Like legit do not like him.
Yeah.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, maybe that's, you know, plays a role into it. Like I truly feel like Kanye feels like, you know, whoever was going to be, you know, dating Kim shouldn't be somebody.
At the same level.
Yeah, it has to be at the same level, or shouldn't be someone that makes him per se look bad, you know. Like, and I'm not saying this is okay. I'm not trying to vouch for Ye in any way, shape, or form. I'm not trying to say his behavior is understandable at all, because his behavior is not okay. But I always try to look into these things and like dissect it as much as possible to understand it, because at the end of the day, so here's the beauty about celebrity relationships, is they're so public, they give you a inside perspective or inside view of things that normal people are actually going through, right? Like people have dealt with a Ye in their life.
Yeah.
You know?
But he just is so famous that he could just make his like toxic just crazy, like big, you know, like really impactful on her.
Yeah. Well, I think people who don't have money like Ye, they go to other extremes, right? Because they don't have all the resources. I'll give you an example. I have dealt with my own version of a Kanye West. You know, I dated crazy ass girlfriend. I dated a girl for 3 years, and she broke up with me not the other way around. But she literally, and I say stalking, but really harassing me. I mean, she harassed me. She would call me all the time, even though I didn't want to be called or I didn't want to be messaged. She would call me. She would text me. She would call me from other people's phone numbers. She would text me from other people's phone numbers. I go over to her home because I was working with her her mom's boyfriend. Right? We did photography together, and I was dropping off some prints to him. You know, and I was over there. I didn't want to be rude, so I said, hey, you know, I just wanted to let you know, hey, I'm here. And I look at her computer, and on her computer is my Facebook page home screen. Not my Facebook page home screen. You know, like
Your login and everything, like she logged into your account?
Yes, she logged into my account. And I confronted her about it, and she goes, oh, I don't say anything wrong. It's not like I'm messaging people. It's not like I'm posting anything. I just want to read your messages and see who you're talking to.
That's weird.
That's not okay, right? But everyone has kind of dealt with their own version of that. What are your thoughts about this whole thing?
I have never dealt with a situation like that, like personally, like anyone I've been dating. But in high school, I had a friend who dated someone like that, and when they broke up, he went crazy. Texted her phone all the fucking time. It was scary, and we were in high school, and he was older, so it was just like, oh, it was a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely dealt with something like that, but never personally. So I think he's definitely toxic. That's what I think. He's definitely toxic, like 100%.
Yeah, I mean that's without a doubt.
It's just
but this is,
ridiculous.
you know,
like, I don't understand why be so toxic. Like, you should want her to be happy, so you guys can get along better, so you guys can have a really healthy co-parenting relationship. You're doing all this, and it's going to strain that, and it's going to make it really hard. Your daughter, your kids are going to see this, and it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like he needs some help.
Yeah, and you know the real reason. So first off, you know, we're not a gossip column. We're not a gossip type of podcast at all. There was an intention with us talking about this, and truthfully, the intention is one to really talk about some of those signs and you know, some of the things that Kanye has done to, you know, that is abusive behaviors. I feel like when we talk about abuse, a lot of times we only think about physical abuse, right? When we talk about abusive relationships, we only really, you know, go there with it.
Mental abuse is a lot.
Yes.
It takes a toll. Like that, if you can mentally drain someone with a relationship, I mean, you can pretty much take control. And I think that's probably maybe what his like end goal is. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
He should want her to be happy.
Absolutely. And, you know, the message for everyone here, you know, physical abuse is definitely a big issue. It's something that should be, you know, the attention definitely should be on that, because, you know, I don't have the exact stats, you know, for how many relationships end in actual physical abuse, but I would say from someone who's dealt with emotional and mental abuse in a good majority of my relationships, that I feel happens way more often. You know, mental and emotional abuse is a thing that's not talked about enough, and it happens too often. And I feel like it happens so often because we don't always see the signs, and we don't get out of those relationships fast enough, nor are the people who are you know, doing those type of behaviors, nor are they held accountable, right? So then they never really actually know, like, okay, what you're doing is toxic, what you're doing is abusive, it's not okay.
But yeah, people don't see the signs, like, until you get into a healthy relationship, and then you realize that all that shit was like really toxic. Like, that's not normal shit. And then another thing is, a lot of people don't see healthy, like, marriages and stuff, so they see toxic. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't see those toxic signs until they are in a non-toxic area.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Why do you think people, well, okay, so besides them, you know, seeing a healthy relationship, what do you think is the reason why people don't recognize the signs of abuse, of mental and emotional abuse?
Well, I don't think it's discussed. Well, I think actually mental abuse and stuff like that is getting talked about more, and there are more like available things
I agree.
for people. But it's still not something that a lot of people take seriously. But also, if you're around toxic people, they're gonna think that stuff is okay, but it's actually toxic. So I think it's also like it can be your environment too.
Yeah.
Who you're around.
Yeah. You want to know my opinion? And I'm curious to hear what you know, what you think about my opinion. My opinion is that in a lot of romance movies, there are things that are made to be romantic and cute that sometimes, if you actually really strip it back, if it's not invited, it can be viewed as abusive, I think, or you know, not okay or toxic, right? I feel like a lot of people view their toxicity as justifiable, right? I love this person so much that I'm going to do whatever it takes to get them back, including stand outside their window with a speaker box, and you're going to come, you know, like, or throw a rock at your window in the middle of the night, and you got to, you know, talk to me now. Like, I get it. Like, in movies, that shit sounds really romantic, and it sounds cute, and you probably wish someone would do that for you until it's someone who you don't want it to you know.
To me,
like,
it does.
Yeah, like,
that's a lot. I would not like that at all.
Yeah, I think.
Get away from my window.
I think some people.
Like
I think some people think that their intentions are okay. I think some people actually not, well, that their intentions are in the right place, right? That what they're doing is, as long as they, you know, they're doing it out of an act of love, it's okay,
It's not.
right? Or it's invited, or this is what the other person wants. You know, like, oh, we broke up because maybe I didn't love him enough, so let me smother him. And that's kind of the thought, and that's how I feel about this whole situation.
Like, if that's how you grew up to see things,
Yeah.
If you grew up in an environment like that, then that's how you're gonna think that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So, you know, like I said, like celebrity marriages, they kind of create a, you know, they create a window into their situations. But now, you know, we've seen Brad and Angelina split. You know, Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. And then here we're at with Kim and Ye, right? And then, of course, a lot of normal folks go through these same situations. A lot of normal folks' marriages, just like celebrity marriages, end up in divorce.
A lot more than that.
So my question is the idea of marriage a setup for failure?
No.
No. Why?
Because I've seen healthy marriages. I think being a celebrity is like a different toll because, I don't know, everyone says like, oh, it would be easy to be a celebrity, but I think there takes a lot to be a celebrity. So I think it's like a different level. But I have seen healthy marriages. My mom and dad have been together for 29 years.
Okay.
And I know a bunch of other people.
Were they married all 29, or were they boyfriend and girlfriend for a majority of those years, or did they get?
So they dated for I think a year and a half, and then he proposed, and then they got married. And they've been married.
So pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were pretty young then too.
My dad, my mom and dad are I think 10 or 11 years apart.
Okay.
So yeah, she was 20 something and he was in his 30s.
In his 30s. Okay. I mean that's kind of the same thing with my parents as well. I mean they'll be celebrating their 25th year of being married next year, but
see, so you've seen healthy relationships.
Yeah, I've seen healthy relationships.
It's definitely not impossible.
But what I will say, and I'm not going to put anyone on blast, I'm not going to use any names, but I have seen a healthy amount of friends who have been married also end up divorced, right? And matter of fact, I would say majority of my friends that were married ended up getting divorced. A majority of them. Now actually really thinking about it, it's kind of scary to think about, you know. No, I am married, but that was kind of always my big fear of getting married, was that it's like, okay, why do I want to legally bind with someone, and then down the road we'll end up splitting, and now I got to give you half my stuff.
Why would you think like that?
That was my way of thinking initially.
No,
that's why.
That's like assuming it's gonna fail. Like, why would you just assume it's gonna fail? Like, if you really love this person, you want to get married to them, you think you're going to be with them forever.
Of course, once I found a person that you know was I really loved and someone
like once
who,
it,
yeah,
the
once
light
that,
bulb went off and you're like, this is the person.
yeah, once I met that person, I mean, things definitely changed, obviously, because
Yeah.
I'm married now, and I didn't go into my marriage with any fears whatsoever. But that was my way of thinking for a majority of my adulthood. That was my way of thinking of majority of my life. Period. Even seeing healthy marriages, the idea of it didn't sound beneficial. It didn't sound like there was enough.
That's a big thing with this generation. Like, a lot of people don't get married.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't want to get married and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not as big, like, because everyone got married. All of our parents pretty much got married. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but
Well,
you don't see that a lot now.
That's interesting you say that. So I actually I have some stats here, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on some of these stats. So as of 2019, the divorce rate in the U.S. has decreased, but so did the rate of marriages.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
So less people are getting married now. Also, less people are getting divorced now. So I found that pretty interesting, and that kind of backs up your observation. Like I do agree. I feel like a lot of people, they're not crossing that bridge, right? Like I've seen a lot of relationships go to distance. I know a good handful of relationships that are 5 years plus of being boyfriend and girlfriend, and they live together.
I am so impatient. I couldn't wait that long.
Yeah.
5 years? Are you kidding me?
I don't know if it's but that's
Put
the thing.
a ring on it.
But
no.
But that's the thing.
So
I don't
mad.
I think some people are not even waiting. I think some people are okay with the idea of not being married and being together with somebody.
Fine.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But like if there's a person, like if one of them wants to get married, I'm just saying in my situation. I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
Putting a ring on it.
Yeah.
If you're hitting 5 years, that's ridiculous. You're stuck with me. That's none of that.
That's funny. Here's some more stats. Okay. So almost 50% of all marriages. Okay. So this includes first, second, third marriages. This includes hetero marriages and same-sex marriages, all marriages in the U.S. 50% of all marriages end in divorce. Okay. 41% of those 50% are first marriages. Okay.
Okay.
60% of second marriages end in divorce, and then 73% of third marriages end in divorce. To me, it sounds like if you got done with your first marriage, I mean, you might as well not even attempt that second and third. I mean, 60 and 73% is pretty damn high, and that's just my opinion.
That is true. But I also know people who have gotten remarried and they've been happy. So I think it just depends. I think just if people were to realize their issues in relationships and work on themselves, I think the divorce rate would be better. I think people are really like, I'm kind of like this perfect complex type thing, and so it's like, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. Why are these marriages failing?
Yeah.
Something like that. Unless you just have like a really bad taste in men or women. Like if that's your bad luck, that sucks. But I feel like a lot of people don't realize their flaws, and so they don't work on them, and so then it keeps happening, and their relationships keep failing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think one thing that I've noticed in other people's relationships that have failed, especially my friends, because like I say, I'm not trying to put people on blast, but I'm just call it how it is. When most people talk to me about their failed relationships, the first thing that they do is they point the other finger at the other person. Right? That's the first thing they do. They go, me and so split because so and so didn't do this, or so and so did this, or so and so wouldn't stop doing this.
I think that's fair to do because they can vent and stuff like that and get their emotions out. And then I feel like once they can do that, you can really have a talk to them and be like, do you really feel like it was really their fault? Or have that conversation with them. Because like when you're really in the moment talking about something like that for the first time, you just want to fucking vent. You just want to like kind of go off and get that emotion out.
I hear you. But at the same time, I think, you always have to kind of look at yourself too and see what you did and what you could do better. Like even in relationships where I've been cheated on, I've always, in a way, I mean, if you cheated on me, you cheated on me, and I can't take that away from you. I can't say, hey, I would have did this and you wouldn't have cheated. No, like no. Cheating is not okay, and there's never any excuse for it.
No, if you're not
however,
happy, just leave.
however, I always look at myself in the relationship as, okay, when did it go sour? Or was there anything that I could have did better in this relationship? Or was there any time during this relationship where I didn't even see the writing on the wall, and I should have gotten out of this relationship? I'll give you an example. I had the same chick that harassed me after we split.
The 3 year
You know, she cheated on me multiple times. And I kept going back to her. I kept saying, hey, you know, we'll work this out, or we'll figure this out.
Yeah.
So, granted, cheating is wrong. However, when I look back at that situation, I got hurt from the situation because I didn't leave. I didn't value myself at the top as the top priority, because I can only control what I do.
You feel like you couldn't like go on without that person, huh?
Yeah. So, well, no, it wasn't just that. It was that, but it was also that I was trying to make this person into what I wanted them to be. Like, I was trying to turn this person into the dream person, and they were never going to be that, because they truly didn't want that. And not only did they not want that, but even I should not be trying to change a person. But I feel like that is one of the reasons why most relationships fail, is I feel like people are not they're not trying to self-improve. They're trying to improve the other person. I feel like most people do that when they get into a relationship. You know, they find a person, they connect with the person,
and they want
everything
them to
is
be
good.
what they think their relationship should be.
Right. Well, they are in the beginning, because that's the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone's full of dopamine. Everyone's full of, you know, all these emotions, and everything's good, and this person is perfect, and then all of a sudden, that moment.
That stage.
I feel like everyone does, and that's also why relationships end, because once that phase ends, now you're really asked to do a lot of the hard stuff. Now you really actually have to learn who each other is. You have to learn
like you could
about
stay
your
in
partner.
the newlywed stage and still do that. I think there are couples. It's very rare, but I think there are couples that still do that. I don't know. I've seen it where couples act like they're just like still like just in like a bunch of love, and it's so cute. I love it.
Well, you know what that is? So, you know, once you get out of that honeymoon phase, right? You go into what's called like this power struggle phase, right? It can be really long for some people, and it can break their relationship, or it can be really short for some couples, right? And this is that phase where you're like, who the fuck is this person I'm with, right? Like you're kind of taking a look at each other, and you're like, man, I've done all this, we've done all this, now I'm bored, nothing is new, let me try to figure it out. And that's that little phase where sometimes there's a little bit of bickering, you know, there's a little bit of fighting, sometimes there's a lot of bit of fighting, right? There's less, you know, sex happening, or sometimes there's more sex happening, but it's unhealthy, and it's, you know, there's more of it happening than actual talking. Right, there's not as much talking. But then once you break through that phase, and usually the way you do that is just, in my opinion, in my experience, is through an excessive amount of talking, an excessive amount of conversation, right? You break through that phase, and then you find a new honeymoon stage. But this new honeymoon stage is not something that's happening subconsciously, right? When you get into a relationship, everything is happening subconsciously. It's happening without you really thinking about it, right? Like when you want to spend time with that person, you make the time because something is just pulling you. But during that second honeymoon phase, you are consciously now making decisions to love that person, right? Like you're waking up every day and you're reminded of, okay, I have to choose this person today. I have to choose to love, which love is an action, right? I have to choose to try to do something today to express my love, right? My goal isn't to try to make this person happy because I'm not in control of their happiness. However, everyone receives love differently, right? And if you did all the steps, especially all that talking, you now know how to love someone, right? Like I know, like with my wife, her main thing is quality time, right? If we can spend not quantity of time, but quality time, meaning we actually do something that she's interested in, and I'm actually involved, she feels loved, right? And then we can go about our days, right? You have to learn your partner, and you have to choose them, and you have to choose to love them every single day. And that's that little thing that you're talking about.
And that's what a lot of people, I think, have a hard time doing.
Yeah.
Is they don't, and I think that they don't have a.
I think there's the reason why a lot of people are scared of marriage. I think
they're scared of it failing.
I think they're scared of it failing, but I think
it's expensive. If it
I think they're scared of it failing, but I also think they're scared of the longevity and like the future and not knowing what will happen. I think most people.
It just sucks because it's like marriage is it's a. I won't get married. I think marriage is a beautiful thing, and because I've seen healthy relationships. So I was like, that's what I want. Like, it's totally doable if people like know how to work on themselves and like realize that like you're not gonna be stuck, because stuck sounds like a bad word. You're gonna be with this person, growing with them, and like realize that like this person changes as you get older. Like each of you are gonna constantly change. You're not gonna be the same person that you were when you guys started dating. Like, and I think you have to grow.
And I think that is what is the main issue, right? So here's another interesting fact, right? Okay, so actually 3 facts, and that kind of backs up what you just said. So the average first marriage that ends in divorce lasts about 8 years. Okay.
8 years.
8 years. There's a lot of change that can happen in 8 years. Okay. The average age of divorce, with 60% of all divorces. The average age of people who get divorced is 30, with 60% of all divorces being folks aged 25 to 39. So think about that age, right? 25 to 39, the average being most people within that 30-year mark. What's happening in your life around that time? I don't know. You usually finish college around 24, right? If you did your bachelor's. Now you get into your career with your bachelor's. Sometimes you do got to start at the very beginning. And then your life is changing as your career also changes because you level up. And now this company that you've spent all this money for to go to college just to get at
and stuff, and it caused problems because like you guys can't spend the same amount of quality time together. Things change.
I don't think just that. I think it's
change as a person too.
I don't think it's just that. I think it's that when. So back in the day, women weren't exactly always career minded. Now they may have been, but they weren't given all the resources to go after the career that they really wanted. The world was highly discriminatory against women in the workplace. Women usually can only really serve in certain jobs, in certain fields, right? So when a woman and a man get together, the man automatically is thought of to be the breadwinner. So the man is the one who's advancing his career. The women stay at home, have children. Because they have children, a lot of times they're not able to advance their career as fast or really at all because, they can't take on a lot of the responsibilities of raising the kids and going to work at the same time, right? So man advances. Now we're in this new revolution where women in the workplace are advancing faster. They're advancing more because women actually do now hold more degrees than men do, typically. Right? So you have both men and women being very career oriented, right? So let's say, I don't know, 2 people, they meet in college, right? And they start dating in college. And then they both get their bachelor's degree, right? So now they're 24 years old. They graduate their bachelor's degree. They're 25 now, okay? Susie, she goes into telecommunications, which, I don't know, maybe takes her to the South, right? And they're both living in the South together. But Johnny has a degree in, I don't know, in data or IT or coding, right? Or programming. So then a job opens up for him to go to the Silicon Valley, right? So Susie and Johnny are now trying to make it work from 2 different places, working for their dream jobs. 1 year goes by, things are good. 2 years goes by, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 8 years.
It would get lonely.
Right? And that's what I think is part of
I
the.
don't feel like that's a typical thing.
I don't think
though.
that's a typical thing, but I do feel like that is part of the issue. I feel like a lot of times people
Work
are,
does
are
affect
afraid to
things.
get married because they're choosing their work lives over having an intimate life. I think a lot of people are making that decision of, I want to be this when I grow up, and they're going after it, which I think is right. But it's so hard to do that when both people are both going after it and their jobs take them to different places, especially if you already know that about the person who you're with.
Well, yeah, but I don't. I know a lot of people that are like my age
Yeah.
that aren't probably going to be doing that kind of job stuff that still don't want to get married. So I think it's just like they're just scared in general. And like the feeling of just being stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And stuck's a bad word, but like people that's what they say. I'm stuck with this person forever. Like when you essentially think that you're going to be stuck with something forever, that's a lot. Like forever's a long time.
I feel like if you don't
forever's
want
a really long time.
I feel like if you don't want to be stuck with someone forever, you should you should break up with them now. Like that's how I feel.
That's something. See, even you thought like that. Like you said that you thought like that in the beginning. Like, oh yeah, like why am I going to be stuck with this person when we're just going to get divorced? Like it's just.
What I'm saying is okay. So I thought that way, and I hadn't met the person. I hadn't met the person that would change my mind. Mm-hmm. Right. If I'm with the person and I'm still thinking that way, then that, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but that person ain't the person. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like, I feel like it's a cop out, and then at the same time, it makes me believe that the person is with that person simply just for companionship and not because they actually want to spend the rest of their life with that person. Yeah. I feel like some people are so afraid of being lonely and being single and being by themselves that they're just willing to be with anybody, whether it's just for a 5-year stint, and then 5 years goes down the window when they break up. Like that to me sounds like a waste. Like I personally couldn't see myself
5 years putting a ring on it. Like that's fucking ridiculous.
I couldn't see myself being with somebody for even 3 years tops, and I didn't want to marry them. Like if that was the case, like we gotta start trying to find a way to get out of this thing.
That's so scary. Like
is it?
It is. Having like someone choose having someone want to choose you as a female perspective, like having someone to choose you is like it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure too.
Is it?
Because it's like you want to be like this good person.
Yeah.
And so sometimes
I never thought about it like that. It's a lot of pressure for women to, like when it comes to the thought of getting married, like in the sense of being chosen.
Well, kind of like as like a worthy type thing. Like, am I worth getting married? I know that I have felt like that before in the past, just from like just really bad I've talked to a lot of people, but never really no relationship type stuff. But like, you can still get your heart broken off of that type of shit. And so I've had my heart broken a couple times, and yeah, I felt like that before. So I feel like there's a lot of pressure too, because it's like you want to make sure you're pretty for this person all the time. You're a good person. You're doing the right things, and I feel like it's a lot of pressure on men too. I feel like it's the same. I feel like it's the same type of pressure because you guys have this like standard of like what men are supposed to be, I guess. And like, I don't know. I feel like it's more fluid now. But like essentially, like our generation goes by that. Like there's like a kind of like a standard for men. I feel like men have a pressure to be under. From what I see, I could be wrong, but that's what I think.
Okay.
Does that make sense, or did I just
ramble? That makes sense.
Okay.
I'm now, for the people who are watching this, I want to know your guys' opinion on that too. About, I just this is my first time hearing that. As far as like the pressure that women feel about getting married, I know there's pressure that comes from like family, and all that. Like families like, oh, you're 28 years old. Where's your ring at? Like, why aren't you married already? Where's your husband? Like, But I didn't know that there was like pressure to be chosen.
That's just his personal experience.
There's like a feeling. There's like a feeling of validation when someone does put a ring on it. Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Because it's like also as you get older, it's like you also have this like, am I ever gonna get married? Like, am I worth getting married? Like, I think a lot of like women that are older that have never been married feel that way, because it's like, why won't someone pick me? why can't I be worthy of being picked?
So that,
what the fuck is wrong with me? You know, type shit. So
yeah.
That's what.
That makes me wonder. Then I mean that.
And that's
I know
why
that kind of makes.
That's why I think people settle for anything, just so they don't feel like that anymore.
But then now that kind of like makes me believe maybe that's another reason why people don't want to get married. Period. Because like right now there's like this, and I'm completely on that side. There's like this revolution where women, they don't feel the need to have validation from men anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, they're like totally like fuck men. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's like this
Facebook.
female revolution. Like, look, us women, we're gonna do our thing. It doesn't matter if men like us or not. I'm gonna grow my armpit hair. I'm not gonna shave my legs. You're gonna have to fucking deal with it.
That's a personal choice.
I'm just. But what I'm saying is,
if you do that, but I.
What I'm saying is, I think maybe, I don't know. Maybe some people view marriage as like this sense of trying to achieve validation from a man, or I don't know. I think that's a really interesting topic to expand on.
If a woman wants to get married, a woman wants to get married. That's just the point blank end of it. So it's like for her not to be able to have someone like want to marry her, it's a lot mentally, because it's like, can you imagine? Okay, so the same situation, groom runs out on a wedding. Mm-hmm. He didn't choose her. That would be so much like PTSD on that bride. Like she would be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like he ran out on our wedding day. Like he went to the last minute. The very last minute to tell me that we're not going to do this. Like, that's some bullshit. One, but two, it would be really just
every time I hear stories like that,
crazy.
The thought goes to my mind like, that is so expensive.
Right?
Like, like getting
the
married.
Most expensive breakup
hell no.
Ever.
Like,
ever.
Look. If I'm there, I'm there. Look, we gonna do this damn thing.
I would be
we gonna do this damn thing.
Devastated.
That's a little fun. All right, we're gonna move into the next segment of y'all's favorite, Truth or Nah.
That was fun.
So I got a couple tweets for you. Some actually are Kanye and Kim related. Some are marriage and divorce related. You know how this game goes. I'm going to read them off. And we're going to discuss whether they facts or they flawed. So the first one. Mm-hmm. If you don't care about this because celebrities, wise up. This is a window into the kind of harassment, endangerment, and humiliation women face daily. What Kanye West is doing isn't fighting for his family or what a real man does. It's quite the opposite. Facts or nah?
100% facts.
Facts.
Facts. Crazy.
Facts
because,
on
like,
facts on facts.
He's not fighting. Yeah, he's not fighting for his family. He's fighting for power. Like, he wants control. And the fact that, like, Kim is dating Pete and he can't control that, I think drives him crazy. Because think about it. He controlled everything. He made her, and this is what I've seen, so this is what I've heard. That I've seen it on TV where she said that he made her throw out her whole wardrobe so he could redress her. And, like, he just controls everything. And he has to control everything.
Well, the part that is, like, facts to me is that, once again, I already said it, but this is a window into the kind of harassment, endangerment, and humiliation women face daily.
Yeah.
Right? So this paints a picture of what harassment looks like. And many people are dealing with this, and many people have done it. Whether or not they even know that they're doing it. I mean, I'm going to be straight up. I have done some toxic stuff that I didn't even realize was toxic until I sat down and really thought about it, like what type of position I was putting this person in. You know, I mean, shit, I've sent women a photo of me crying before. Like, hey, look, you broke my heart. Like
I can't live
that shit.
You type bullshit.
Yeah, that shit is toxic.
That is toxic.
And to me,
I've dealt with that.
And I'm sorry for ever doing it, but that shit is abusive in my eyes now. Like now, like after being educated and really like sitting back and looking at it, like that's not okay. Like that puts people in a position where they feel like now they can't even move on with their lives because they're afraid of you hurting yourself, or they're afraid of endangering you. So now they feel in a way shackled to stay in this relationship that they don't want to stay in.
Extremely like
Nope.
Chained up.
So straight up, that's from Jamil Smith. Jamil Smith, that's facts, my brother. Facts. Next one. Kim Kardashian has 3 divorces, and everyone's blaming Kanye West, starting to think she's the problem.
I feel like that's not facts because she tried to be very supportive of him, and he just kind of did some stuff that she just got tired of. And also, she did I don't know if this was an interview or something, but I heard her that she was like, he needs someone that's going to travel with him and stuff. And she was like, I live in LA. This is where I live and where I make my money. And she was like, he needs someone that's going to follow him around and support him all the way.
Yeah.
So I feel like she's very aware. I don't feel like she's the problem in this situation. Maybe the other one she was like, I don't feel like she's the same person she was now.
Boom.
when she had those marriages.
That's exactly.
She's a completely different person. Like she's done a lot, and I don't think she's the same person. So that's not fair. And Kanye is not just this normal guy. Like he does whatever the fuck he wants because he thinks he can do whatever the fuck he wants, and like she's just not with that anymore. And I totally respect that.
No, this tweet straight up, nah.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the head. Like she's not a different person. Like. You know, during those,
she is a different person.
No, she is a different. Sorry, yeah, she is a different person. Like she's not the same person, right? Like, and in those marriages, not only did they not have the longevity that this one had, but if you look at the timing of those marriages too, I mean, they're right at the very beginning of her stardom and her fame, right? And
she
she's
live
settled
a life like that when she was younger. So.
Right, and now she's settled into her fame, and she's
she has her own empire.
Right,
now.
she has her own brand.
Yeah,
and she's now able to really be herself. And that's straight up that's not facts at all. That's false. Like you can't look at.
Maybe the only thing I could say is she has a bad taste in men. Maybe.
I don't think you could hold her accountable at all to this.
But
I
don't blame her at all for this situation at all.
Well, okay. What I will say is I don't have enough facts, and no one has enough facts to hold her accountable to this. But I do have enough evidence to say
Kanye's actions.
To say that from Kanye's actions, but also from her actions. I have enough evidence to go. Kim was a damn good wife. I do. I mean, shit. The things that Kanye did. And she still supported him. There's no way that if my wife did some of those things where I'd be like, oh, fuck. I mean, I would disappear off social media. But the fact that like she like stood like 10 toes down, you know, heels in the soil and stood up for her husband, like that shit.
She really
that was
loved him. I think that I think she really, really did. But I think it's just like if you're not happy, don't stay in a relationship where you're not happy. And she just wants to be happy. She's created this empire and she just wants to enjoy it with her family and make money, and I feel like he's just trying to destroy it.
Yeah. Here's the last one about Kanye West and Kim Kardashian of Truth or Not. Kanye West is delusional about getting back with Kim Kardashian as Donald Trump is about being president. That's facts. He is delusional. But once again, I don't think it's about getting with Kim Kardashian. I think it's more so about Pete Davidson. I do think it's facts.
Power.
It is about power. It's about the fact that, you know, he's a billionaire and he's done all these things and millions of people love him, and that he's not getting what he wants. And that's what the real issue is. If Pete Davidson were to split from Kim Kardashian and Kim were to miraculously go back to Kanye West, dude. I promise you, they wouldn't. Change so much for them to get back together. I promise you, they wouldn't last that long. I guarantee you, because the type of behavior that he's displaying is not. It's not even a behavior of love. This is not coming from a love place. This is coming from a me place. Like, I'm not getting what I want, even though she wants to move on and she wants to be happy. See, if you truly loved someone and they felt so strongly about not being happy in the place that they were with you, and that they're now wanting to choose happiness for themselves, and you love that person enough, you let them go be happy. Yep. Because love is not an ownership thing. Love is not selfish.
It's pride.
Yeah, that's 100% pride. And then the other thing to even go along with that tweet about delusion, you know, so when the election happened, I'm just going to touch this a little bit, right? When the election happened, everyone was saying that the election was fraud, and Donald Trump was retweeting all that stuff. Just recently, Kanye West posted some articles about Pete Davidson had sent Mac Miller some inappropriate photos of him and Ariana Grande while Ariana Grande was dating Mac Miller, right? Kanye West had posted this rumor blog, right, that was never found to be true and actually has been, debunked many a times. But the fact that he's choosing to use like false media and rumors to stir up more drama and to create more of an issue is kind of like the same thing that happened during the election. So this is facts to me. So that was from Vincent Ioza. That's facts, bro. That's facts. All right, so next one. A happy marriage and good parenting really boils down to being a phenomenal person. And a lot of y'all ain't. Y'all think y'all are for very superficial reasons, but y'all truly aren't. And on top of being broken, y'all refuse to seek God in hell. So it's no hope. Facts or not?
I feel like that's half facts and half like not. Because it's not that there's no hope. I feel like there is hope if people realize. But I feel like that is facts about how a lot of people are. Very like entitled, I am perfect complex.
I feel like it's a not for me. And here's the reason. So he says a happy marriage and good parenting really boils down to being a phenomenal person. I 100% disagree with that.
There's a lot in that statement.
I disagree with that. I think that anybody could be a good parent, even if you're not a great person. I don't think you have to be this phenomenal person to be a good parent. I don't think you have to be a phenomenal person to be a good husband or a good wife. I think you have to be hardworking. I think you have to just be, really the bare minimal is considerate. But you don't have to be a phenomenal person. You know what I mean? Like, I know people who I don't like, people who I don't care for. I think they have some pretty interesting personality traits, but I've seen their children happy. And I've seen their children loved, and I see their children, thriving, right? I also know people who I'm like, damn, this person's a terrible person.
But they're really happy in a relationship.
But they're married.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're married to someone and guess what? They're married to someone just like them. I don't think that's a measurable quality, and I also don't think it's a quality that determines whether or not you'll be successful in a particular area. We all know shitty people who are successful in certain areas. We all have a boss that we don't like. And the reason why they're the boss is because they worked for it. And that's just the shitty thing about it. We all know people who are married and they have, lasting marriages, but they just work hard in that area. It's just what it is. I think it's just a matter of hard work. I don't think it matters about who you are.
But there's a lot in that statement. I feel like that's why it's like half fact and half not. Because I feel like a lot of people are like that. They're like, I'm perfect type shit. Like, that was a really long tweet. I feel like, so how do you feel about the rest of it then?
Okay. So he goes to say, y'all think y'all are for very superficial reasons, but y'all truly aren't. So on top of being broken, y'all refuse to seek God and heal, so it's no hope. The rest of the tweet,
Kind of doesn't have to do with the first part of the tweet.
If you tie it into the first part of the tweet, then it's still a no for me. But if you just take that by itself, everyone thinks that they're better than they are in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I think I also think it's a little over. I don't know. I think it's too much to even go as far as calling people broken. Like that to me is that phrase to me is kind of problematic because it's kind of like you don't know what people go through. You don't know what people are dealing with.
People put on a persona all the time.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who hide behind their persona because they're really actually going through something.
Life is hard, and life is some bullshit.
Yeah. So
people don't care. People don't care about your bullshit. So you have to put on this persona that you're okay. People don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. So the next one or the last one. This one's interesting. This one's some.
Let's hear it.
Whew, okay, I'm in a church right now, and the pastor's wife is saying divorce is not an option. churches are one of the reasons why people remain in toxic marriages.
Oh, why would you? Oh, that's that's a loaded
So,
one.
so the wife, so the wife's
I
past,
feel like
or the
relig-
pastor's wife says
I just
that
feel like yes, that I feel like maybe not church, but religion. Just period. Religion is a hard factor because I know like for people that are in arranged marriages, they're arranged. That's sticking. Like they're
and
not
there are
getting
people who are not
divorced.
just in arranged marriages, but literal forced marriages.
Yeah, so
where-
it's just like that is facts. I wouldn't necessarily say just church, but I feel like religion in general is kind of like that. Some of them don't believe in divorce since they're very devout to their religion, which that is totally fine. Then that's what they think, and then
Yeah.
if they're married to that person, they're married to that person,
Right.
and they try and make it work as best they can.
Yep. Now, okay.
So that's a loaded.
I
one.
will say it is a loaded one, and this was kind of hard to just go, oh, that's facts. Like, it is facts. I do believe that religion, a lot of times, is the reason people stay in situations that they shouldn't be in. However, I do believe
If
that
that's a
people,
religion, and that's what they believe.
yeah, outside of religion though, I do believe that people choose the option of divorce too quickly. I do believe a lot of times, especially, I mean, just looking at the stats, most people are in their mid-20s, late 30s when they're getting divorced. There's still a lot of maturing.
There's a lot of changing.
There's still a lot of maturing that's happening in those stages. I do think that a lot of people split way too fast. And I'll say this straight up as a married person. There's been times where my marriage has been difficult, and staying together, or the reasons to stay together, weren't exactly so obvious right there in your face. However, you stay together because anything, really, as long as both parties are willing, can be worked through. Anything. Now, once the other party is not willing to work through it, then now you have a toxic marriage.
Yep.
And maybe you probably should consider divorce. However, if both parties are willing to work, in my eyes, no matter how long it takes and no matter how hard it really is, I think you should work through it. You have both people, you're married. You went up there and you made a promise
Yep.
to your friend, to your partner,
Yep.
in front of your friends, in
I feel
front
like
of
you
your
should try
coworkers.
everything, like every last thing possible. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
I think you should exhaust all options before that.
But I think a lot of that goes with people don't think that they're wrong. So it's really hard for them to want to do this stuff because, like, well, I don't need this because I don't need therapy. There's nothing wrong with me.
Why is that? I mean, okay. First off,
because, therapy is just, therapy was always looked on bad. Like you were crazy. And it's like, you're not crazy. It's just, it's nice to, I've never been in therapy, but I want to go. I want to have.
I've always been
I want to go into therapy.
I've
I don't
always
think
been
I'm saying that correctly.
I've always
I
been
don't think
so
I'm saying that correctly.
envious of people who actually got therapy for issues that they were dealing with.
Yeah.
I always
me
thought
too.
that was a privilege. I'm like, oh, they must be loaded because I wish I could talk to someone about this issue and I couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that stigma because it's almost, it's to me, if you have a problem, right? Let's say me and Johnny both deal with depression or
Right.
anxiety, which I actually do deal with. I deal with anxiety, right? But Johnny is getting therapy or getting counseling for his anxiety, and I'm not. Yeah, so people look at Johnny like he's crazy, but really Johnny's in a better.
It's a stigma.
It's so stupid. I don't get
Hate
it.
it.
People get therapy. If y'all need therapy, don't let anyone tell you that you
More
shouldn't get
people
it.
are open about it. So
Yeah.
it's like it's becoming more of a common thing for people to talk about and realize.
I
and
love that.
stuff. And it's nice.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, our
It's
our
like-
generation is dope, man. We really pushing the envelope on a lot of things.
And then the next
After us,
generation too, they're way more
Yeah.
open and stuff like that. And so I feel like it's just gonna keep going to where it's just gonna be normal.
Yeah.
I give it like another generation or so, and it's gonna be completely normal.
Yeah. No, we'll see. I
That's
mean,
what I think.
one can hope.
Like my sister just turned 18, so she's part of.
She's the same generation as Heather.
No,
Yeah, she is.
no, she's not.
She's a Generation Y.
She was born in 2006.
Oh. I don't know all these breakpoints. I feel like some generations are smaller than others.
I don't know.
I mean, they lump us all into the same generation. They call us all millennials, even though we're not. But anyways, well, we've been going at it for like 45 minutes now, so we gonna cut it short here, or we'll cut it. It wasn't short, but we gonna cut it in here. I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts on marriage, and some of your guys' anxieties about getting married, or
experiences and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
have you seen more relationships that have failed, or have seen more that are successful?
Yeah.
I want to see what people say about that.
You know what I always found interesting, though, is that they stat. I mean, I understand because one is easy to stat. They stat the amount of marriages that fail versus succeed, but they don't do that about relationships in general, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure the numbers are quite, there's quite a big gap between just regular relationships that fail versus marriages. I feel like
there's stats because like that's something that they can physically prove.
That's
like,
what I said.
I mean, I could.
Yeah, because
I could be in a relationship with somebody for a week and not tell anybody. No one's gonna know about it.
That's what I'm saying.
And then we break up. No one.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But also too, what I'm saying is that I guarantee, and stats tend to scare people, but stats don't always tell the full story. And by me saying that, what I'm trying to get at, guys, is that I personally do believe that marriages are actually more successful, way more successful than relationships, than boyfriend and girlfriend relationships. I think marriage leads to more success because when people get married, they tend to take it way more seriously. So, anyways, shout out to New Brew Cafe again. Thank you guys for the delicious frappuccinos. I'm about to get down to my croissant. My croissant.
No tea. Croissant.
Croissant. I'm about to get down on it. But tune in next Monday, and we'll be talking about something different. I don't know. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit up Megan on Instagram. And let us know what y'all want to hear us talk about it. We'll chat about it. We talk about everything. So
yeah, this was a really good. I think it's gonna be a good episode.
Cool.
Bye.
All right.